On July 5, 1991, financial regulators across 7 countries and dozens of time zones executed a synchronized strike. They didn't levy a fine or organize a bailout. They liquidated an entire institution. In an instant, a massive global bank was forcibly slammed shut, and $20 billion in assets vanished into thin air. Behind the locked doors and seized servers, investigators found a borderless crime scene stretching from Wall Street boardrooms to cocaine labs in Medellin. The institution was called the Bank of Credit and Commerce International, or BCCI. It was incredibly difficult to spot the illicit activity because of how exceptionally normal it looked from the outside. With 400 branches operating across 73 countries, it offered a mundane storefront for the shadow economy. Digging through the ledgers revealed a client list reading like a roster of global conflict. Accounts were tied directly to Abu Nidal, the era's most wanted terrorist, and the financial pipelines building Pakistan's nuclear weapons program. Autocrats like Saddam Hussein relied on the bank to manage their wealth. The reach extended heavily into the narcotics trade. The Medellin cartel used BCCI to move billions in cocaine profits, relying on the bank to set up shell companies that looked exactly like legitimate international shipping firms. To manage these clients, BCCI operated its own in-house intelligence wing, known as the Black Network. Based in Karachi, this 1,500-person unit was staffed by former espionage officers who brokered arms deals and bypassed Western sanctions for the bank's most dangerous account holders. Operating a sovereign criminal syndicate out of storefronts in London and New York should draw immediate fire from Western intelligence. But BCCI survived and thrived for nearly 20 years because it wasn't hiding from global powers, it was working for them. The architect of this system was a Pakistani banker and mystic named Agha Hassan Abedi. Driven by post-colonial resentment, Abedi envisioned a financial bridge connecting newly wealthy Middle Eastern oil states with developing nations in Asia and Africa, deliberately bypassing Western regulatory control. To do this, he set up the bank's main holding company in Luxembourg, a jurisdiction with no central bank oversight, and paired it with a mirror company in the Cayman Islands. By constantly transferring assets back and forth between these 2 lightly regulated nodes, Abedi created a technique known as the BCCI double shuffle. This rapid, continuous jurisdictional movement allowed the bank to hide massive financial losses and generate phantom profits on paper. The money moved so quickly across borders that auditors structurally could not reconcile the books, allowing Abedi to run a global Ponzi scheme disguised as an international bank. To make this operation truly untouchable, Abedi needed a foothold in the United States. The Federal Reserve, however, was highly suspicious of BCCI's opaque structure and flatly refused to grant them a banking license. Blocked at the front door, Abedi engineered a stealth takeover. He utilized nominee accounts, investors who claimed to be using their own money to buy a massive DC institution called First American Bank shares. In reality, BCCI secretly provided 100% of the funding for the acquisition. To legitimize the purchase, they hired Clark Clifford, a legendary former Secretary of Defense and Washington insider. When Clifford personally assured the Federal Reserve that BCCI had no involvement, the regulators believed him. Through this proxy ownership, a rogue financial network successfully infiltrated the highest levels of the American policymaking elite. BCCI thrived for decades because the world's most powerful intelligence agencies, including Britain's MI6 and the American CIA, actively relied on its services. During the 1980s, the CIA was running Operation Cyclone, a massive covert campaign to arm the Afghan Mujahideen against Soviet forces. Supplying that war required funneling hundreds of millions of untraceable dollars into Pakistan and over the border into some of the most volatile terrain. BCCI offered a ready-made, highly efficient dark money pipeline perfectly suited for the task. The CIA routed their funds through BCCI accounts directly to warlords on the ground, utilizing the bank's existing covert infrastructure to sustain the proxy war. It was a pragmatic trade-off. In exchange for reliable, secret logistics, the intelligence community looked the other way while BCCI serviced cartels and global terrorists. By embedding itself into the operational needs of the world's most powerful governments, BCCI secured immunity. It functioned as a deliberately protected shadow utility necessary for fighting the Cold War. The immunity eventually fractured in the late 1980s. Undercover U.S. customs agents spent 2 years infiltrating the Medellin cartel, following the cash flow straight into a BCCI branch in Florida, securing the first major indictments against the bank's money laundering operations. Simultaneously in Washington, a Senate investigator named Jack Bloom relentlessly pursued the financial anomalies surrounding First American. Despite intense pressure from the Justice Department to drop the inquiry, Bloom successfully exposed BCCI's secret ownership of the U.S. bank. The definitive blow landed in 1991, when a confidential audit commissioned by the Bank of England, the Sandstorm Report, was leaked to the public. It provided undeniable proof that the institution was entirely insolvent and deeply intertwined with global terrorism. The resulting multi-billion-dollar crater forced regulators to implement the strict anti-money laundering and know-your-customer laws that govern international banking today. Despite the regulatory sweep, the key architects faced little personal accountability. Aga Hassan Abedi lived out his days in Pakistan, dying in 1995 without ever spending a single day inside a Western prison cell. The bank itself was liquidated, but the exact blueprints it pioneered, jurisdictional arbitrage, dark money networks, and nominee shell companies, survived the collapse and were quickly adopted by the global elite. When authorities dissect modern financial megascandals, like the billions siphoned through 1MDB, or the vast offshore networks revealed in the Panama Papers, they are tracking the exact same mechanisms Abedi designed decades earlier. The bank of crooks and criminals was never completely dismantled. It served as the road-tested prototype for the $63 trillion shadow banking system that currently operates just beneath the surface of the global economy.